Choosing the top SNES games of all time is going to be a challenge, especially for me, I think. Nintendo's legendary 16-bit console boasted some of the finest retro games, featuring numerous standout titles that truly excelled after the NES. What a plethora of iconic and unforgettable experiences from some of the most popular series over the years. The SNES held its ground against all of its rivals, particularly the Sega Genesis, which I will be covering soon. It introduced many games that have influenced some of the best titles all the way up to the Switch, and most likely the Switch 2, which will be out soon. Classics like Super Metroid, Final Fantasy III, they all marked the arrival of some of the greatest RPGs of the early 90s, along with memorable platformers and much more. This console definitely left its mark and secured its spot in Nintendo's rich gaming history. Now, as always when I make these lists, I'm going to try and keep it free from too many titles from the same franchise. This might be a tough one for me. After all, my moniker is the Loch Ness Monster. This was and is my favorite video game console. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to mention everyone's favorites. It's only a list of 25, but if there's something on here that you feel should have been mentioned, let me know down in the comments, and of course why. Without any further ado, guys, this is the Loch Ness Monsters Top 25 Best Super Nintendo Games. Starting off our list, number 25, Mario Paint. Now, the SNES mouse might not have been a huge hit overall, but it did bring us Mario Paint, a fun creative tool for drawing, animation, music making, and even some fun mini-games. You could find tons of classic Mario shapes and stamps and brushes, and players could remix tunes from beloved Nintendo games using the actual sound effects, resulting in countless one-up sound covers of popular songs that a lot of people still enjoy today. Mario Paint had a bit of everything, so it's no wonder fans have been hoping for a sequel since it came out way back in 1992. Now, I know some people are going to say this isn't a quote-unquote video game, but thinking about what it was and what it did for the system, especially at the time that it came out, I think that it definitely earns a spot on the top 25. Number 24, Mortal Kombat 2. Now, Mortal Kombat 2 is often seen as the high point of the franchise. The roster grew, the moves got more complex, and the fatalities became even more gruesome. All the coolest characters made their debut in Mortal Kombat 2. Kung Lao, Kintaro, Baraka, and some epic stages like the Acid Pits and that Living Forest. Even today, Mortal Kombat 2 remains one of the most enjoyable 16-bit fighters, looking fantastic on the Super Nintendo with its big, vibrant characters and plenty of blood, which was a big step up from the censored version of the original game on the Super Nintendo. Now, I know we're early in the video, but I'm gonna ask for another comment. Who is your favorite Mortal Kombat character? Doesn't have to be exclusively for Mortal Kombat 2. Myself, I think I'm pretty unstoppable, especially back in the day on a Mortal Kombat 3 cabinet with Cyrax. Number 23, FZero. Way back when the racing genre was still trying to find its bearings on home consoles, FZero came along and set the standard. This futuristic racer was hard and fast, with mind-bending Mode 7 graphics and an impressive variety of tracks to challenge even the most seasoned racing fan. The game also introduced us to Captain Falcon, a talented driver and mysterious bounty hunter who became the poster child for the series. Mario Kart may be the overall better game, but FZero on the Super Nintendo will always be the cooler big brother. With better music too. Number 22, Super Mario All-Stars. Now, way back when remasters weren't super common, Nintendo revamped the classic Super Mario Bros. NES game with updated graphics and sound, bundling them together on a Super Nintendo cartridge. They even threw in a rare save feature which was awesome, and the notoriously tough Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2, which hadn't made its way to North America yet, aka Lost Levels. The first three Super Mario Bros. Games are timeless classics that every gamer should play, and while the originals are still great, Super Mario All-Stars might just be the ultimate way to enjoy these classics. Yes, this game could be higher on the list, but we will see Mario's face again real soon. Number 21, Mega Man X2. After the huge success of the first Mega Man X game, Mega Man X2 stepped up to the plate and nailed it. This sequel introduced our hero to a new lineup of animal-themed cyborg villains, featuring unforgettable bosses like Wheeled Gator, Bubble Crab, and Overdrive Ostrich. Plus, it brought back Zero, who had sacrificed himself in the first game. 30-year spoiler alert. Mega Man could embark on side quests to bring his buddy back to life, which was a relief because otherwise, Zero may have just been a one-time character. Could you imagine that? You know, people often ask me, what's up with my dislike for Mega Man? He's always so low on these lists. My reply is, he's always on these lists. I really like Mega Man games. Number 20, Star Fox. The Super FX chip was a game changer for the SNES. It boosted the console's ability to handle certain 2D effects and even allow for 3D polygon rendering, though this feature was mostly seen in just one title, Star Fox. For a lot of us at the time when we were younger gamers, this was the first taste of true 3D graphics. Sure, the polygons in Star Fox were pretty basic, and the game could lag when too many items were on the screen, but it still amazed every player, especially with its fast-paced arcade action and catchy soundtrack. This awesome debut helped Star Fox become a beloved Nintendo series. Hopefully we see another great game sooner rather than later. Good luck! Number 19, EVO. EVO, Search for Eden, is one of the most unique game designs ever made, and anyone who played it in the 90s remembers it fondly. With thousands of characters to choose from, you started as a simple life form and could shape your evolutionary track however you wanted. Wanted your fish body to have stronger jaws or longer fins? Go for it. Big body versus little body, which tail suited you? Once you hit land, you could evolve legs for jumping or running, grow wings, maybe bat wings or bird feathers, and even have a giraffe neck or an elephant trunk. The possibilities were endless and crazy, and every choice you made changed how your creature played. It was definitely a grind fest to get yourself that new set of teeth or claws, but it was always fun, and most of the time worth it to see that evolution and see what the next creature looked like. Number 18, Super Castlevania 4. The Castlevania series has a rich history, and Super Castlevania 4 stands out as one of its finest entries. The game is a refined and expanded reimagining of the original Castlevania from the NES. Following Simon Belmont on his quest with his iconic whip, the Vampire Killer, to take down Dracula and bring peace back to the world. Castlevania 4 builds on the original concept by introducing 5 new levels, some were even set outside of the castle, along with improved controls and new gameplay features like upgradable whip abilities. These factors contribute to its status as one of the top games on the SNES and my all-time favorite Castlevania game. Number 17, Kirby Superstar. What a fantastic way to end the Super Nintendo's run. Now, even while the Nintendo 64 was taking over the sales charts in 1996, Kirby made a surprise entrance with an incredibly generous collection of 4 really fun adventures, all on one cartridge, along with a fun item hunt called the Great Cave Offense. Add in a boss arena and some decent minigames and you've got one of the best Kirby games ever. Honestly, it's way more memorable than Dreamland 3 or even Dream Course, which didn't quite hit the marks on the SNES, even though they were decent games. 8 games in one, right on the cartridge? How could you go wrong? Oh, and Superstar got a re-release on the DS about a decade back with even more content. Definitely check this one out. Number 16, Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country's graphics were mind-blowing back in the day, and its gameplay is still fantastic. Donkey and Diddy each had their own unique controls, but they both nailed what made a platformer great: running, jumping, and timing your moves just right. Plus, DKC was awesome at swinging, riding, and collecting mechanics, including some hidden treasures. And let's not forget those sweet-ass water levels, they were some of the best around. While Mario is a classic, it's high time that this charming gorilla gets the recognition he deserves. One of my favorite video game sound effects is when the vulture gets hit. I don't know why, it just makes me laugh every time. Bah! Number 15, Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars. Back in 1996, Nintendo fans were buzzing about the Nintendo 64's upcoming launch date, which promised groundbreaking graphics and endless gaming possibilities. But just a few months earlier, a standout Mario game hit the scene, thanks to its partnership between Nintendo and RPG powerhouse Squaresoft. Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars transformed our perception of the beloved plumber, and we couldn't be happier about it. Square infused its turn-based RPG skills into the Mushroom Kingdom, creating one of the finest RPGs on any Nintendo console. It's accessible enough for newcomers, yet it still offered a challenge for the seasoned players, with a storyline that rivals even Final Fantasy. And let's not forget about the characters Malo and Geno, who will definitely tug at your heartstrings, but you'll actually need to play the game to discover their significance. Number 14, Contra III. Konami pulled out all the stops with Contra III, The Alien Wars, on the Super Nintendo, making it the ultimate shooter for the console. With massive bosses, killer rock music, and a wild spinning Mode 7 top-down view, and a boss battle where you literally hanged from flying missiles, it was one of the most extreme games of its time. While earlier Contra titles were inspired by action flicks like Rambo and Aliens, Contra 3 introduced some serious T-80 cyborg lookalikes, a villain that looked like a wannabe Boba or Jango Fett, and a bunch of other nods to blockbuster Hollywood movies, giving it that unique early 1990s vibe. If you needed to show someone with just one video game what the SNES was all about, this is a very good choice to use as your example. Number 13, Super Punch-Out! Now, I've talked before about how every Nintendo series hit its peak on the Super NES, and Super Punch-Out is a prime example. It took the fun and addictive gameplay of the NES version and added more strategic depth for those who were really ready to dig in. Each eccentric boxer had a unique pattern that you could learn and use to your advantage, making a flawless playthrough achievable. But you had to be able to read your opponent and respond appropriately. The fighters were larger than life, the animations were hilarious, and the controls were spot on, making it one of the best games to play on the system. The Wii sequel that came out in 2009 was solid and a really good follow-up, but if I had to choose just one of the 3 Punch-Out games to play, it would definitely be this one.
7, 8, 9, 10!
Number 12, Actra Raiser. At its heart, Actra Raiser is a pretty typical platformer, and its city building aspect is pretty basic. However, when you mix that with a fresh spin on the Judeo-Christian mythology, it turns into one of the most underrated gems of the 16-bit era. Although a lot of hardcore gamers and developers often mention Actra Raiser as one of the top games from that time, not much has been done to explore its concepts again. Sure, titles like Dark Cloud and Dragon Quest Builders provide similar gameplay, they just don't capture the magic that was Actra Raiser. Although it did have a fantastic sequel, this franchise has been quiet for decades. Number 11, Secret of Mana. These days, the SNES is celebrated for its timeless RPG lineup. The first couple of years had some notable games, but in my opinion, the real wave of top-tier titles kicked off with 1993's Secret of Mana. The action RPG is kind of like a 2D version of Kingdom Hearts. Instead of the usual turn-based gameplay, you get to control one of 3 main characters, one directly while still giving the other 2 commands. The main concept was solid, but it was the atmosphere, storyline, and soundtrack that turned it into such an unforgettable journey. Secret of Mana was a significant step forward in cinematic gameplay on the SNES, getting closer to the eventual greatness seen in later games. Just take a look at that title screen and try not to feel inspired. I say mana, you say mana, potato, potato. Number 10, Final Fantasy VI, or 3. Okay, so quickly, Final Fantasy 2, 3, and 5 were never localized for North America, so when 4 came out they released it as Final Fantasy 2, and when 6 was localized, they released it as Final Fantasy 3. Any re-releases, remakes, or remasters will use the correct name, so this only applies to the original Nintendo games. Cool? Cool. Final Fantasy VI sets a new standard for JRPGs in the 90s, excelling in almost every category. It was visually stunning, had an amazing soundtrack, and featured gameplay that was far superior to its rivals. The item customization and battle systems are smooth and user-friendly, making it one of the most balanced RPGs ever. What really makes this game shine even now are its characters and story. Final Fantasy VI bravely tackles themes that many games shy away from and boasts a diverse cast of well-developed, relatable characters. Number 9, Super Mario Kart. It's tough to recall now, but there was a time when the idea of a cute kart racer with characters wasn't so overdone to death. Back then, racing was all about realism, not so much about cuteness, until Mario and his pals came up with the fun concept of adorable characters battling it out in tiny racers. This changed the racing game forever. Even though Mario Kart has been revamped countless times and has reached a level of near perfection, we all still have a soft spot for the original. It wasn't weighed down by sometimes awkward new features or poor online play. The 2D graphics, the variety of racers and tracks, and collecting coins, the original still holds so much charm that it's still one of the best games to play anytime, anywhere. Number 8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. The classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game set a high bar for brawlers, but when Capcom dropped Final Fight, Konami realized they needed to up their game. So what did? They sent the Turtles on a time-traveling adventure. Turtles in Time takes everything the original game did and cranks it up another notch, making it one of the top action games on the SNES. From Big Apple 3 AM onward, every level challenged us with a variety of foes, from the Foot Clan to rampaging dinosaurs in prehistoric Turtlesaurus, culminating in some epic boss battles. Not only is Turtles in Time one of the best beat-em-ups, it's one of the best SNES games, and it has some of the best 16-bit era music as well. It was a great time to be a Turtle fan. This is a must-own for any gaming collection. Number 7, Street Fighter II Turbo. For a lot of fighting game enthusiasts, Street Fighter II on the SNES is often one of the first ones they ever played. While I totally agree that the original Street Fighter II set the stage for 2D fighting games, Street Fighter II Turbo took it to the next level by adding 4 bosses as playable characters and introduced a super fast fighting speed that some players still love today. This game is the ultimate fighting experience on the Super Nintendo. It had everything we adored about Street Fighter II, but even better. We finally got to play as Balrog, Vega, Sagat, and M. Bison. The new speeds brought in fresh strategies, and the precise timing needed for some special moves made executing them trickier than ever. But what true fighting game fan would shy away from a new challenger? Number 6, Earthbound. When Earthbound came out in the 90s, gamers were used to medieval fantasy RPGs, so it was a bit of a shock. With its quirky humor, clever writing, and surreal elements, Nes's adventure offered a unique take on saving the world, while also poking at some Western culture themes. A perspective that's still pretty rare in gaming. Although it did initially flop in the US, it later became a hot collector's item. Now, thanks to the newer consoles and the SNES Classic, it's easier than ever to dive into this gem. It's pretty pricey to hunt down this big box grail, but it's definitely worth having in your collection. The game itself takes some getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, it's a wild, fun, and unforgettable ride. That final boss is trippy as hell, too. Number 5. Yoshi's Island. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island is the pinnacle of not only Yoshi games, but platformers as a whole, featuring stunning pastel visuals, breathtaking backgrounds, and characters bursting with personality. It's hard to think of any game, past or present, that rivals the level of detail found in Yoshi's Island. The charm is off the charts, and you'll often find yourself holding back just a bit from defeating an enemy just to enjoy their animations a little longer. With its focus on exploration and beautiful art, Yoshi's Island remains a delight to play even after all these years. It's just an amazing platformer. There's only one downside of this game, and I think we all know it. That's the crying baby Mario. Number 4. Super Metroid. Super Metroid is definitely a game that changed the game for 2D action-adventure titles. It's not hard to understand why either. With smooth gameplay, top-notch level design, and an incredible atmosphere, a super cool heroine, and a massive world to explore, not many games can match this level of pure gaming joy. From the first steps on Zeebs to that epic explosion as you leave, every second of this game is pure fun, and it just keeps getting better as you progress. As one of the top entries in the Metroid series, it's no surprise that Samus's Super Nintendo adventure ranks so high on this list. Number 3. Super Mario World. You'd think after nailing the Mario formula with Super Mario Bros. 3 that the developers would take a little break. Nope, they jumped right back into it and tried to outdo their massive hit and get a new game ready for Nintendo's second home console. Believe it or not, they actually made a game that surpassed the original 3 in almost every way. Super Mario World built on the solid groundwork of Mario 3, and its lively graphics instantly caught your eye with colors way more vivid than anything that was on the NES, even the Genesis. The classic Mario gameplay was still there, but it came with fresh tricks, abilities, and included a new dinosaur buddy, Yoshi. It's wild to think that one of the best games on the system wasn't just a launch title, but it was also bundled with the console. What an incredible time to grow up playing video games. Number 2. Chrono Trigger. Square was churning out the hits in the 90s, but those games were just the warm-up for what is arguably the best RPG of the 16-bit era. Chrono Trigger lets you explore 7 different time periods, offering over a dozen endings, and has complex but rewarding combat systems that emphasize combining character attacks. These elements have appeared in many games since, but none have done it just quite right, and none can match the stunning visuals of Chrono Trigger's world designed by Akira Toriyama. While Square created many RPGs on the PlayStation, looking back, their final release on the Super Nintendo might just be their crowning achievement. Number 1. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past isn't just the top 2D Zelda or best Super Nintendo game, it's arguably one of the greatest video games ever made. The way it transitions between the dark and light worlds was groundbreaking, greatly enhancing Link's journey. With its intricate depth and straightforward design, A Link to the Past is seen as a landmark action RPG from Nintendo, a game that still inspires and shapes new game developers even decades later. The combat is varied and fun, the puzzles are well thought out, and the dungeons are dazzlingly crafted. You're encouraged to roam the open world and try out Link's growing arsenal, with the game naturally unfolding as you explore. While no game is perfect, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past comes pretty damn close. And that's my list of the 25 best Super Nintendo games. Again, I obviously couldn't mention every awesome game on the Super in a top 25 list. So I do encourage you again, let me know about some of your favorite titles down in the comments. If you made it this far, guys, you are awesome. And if you like the list like this, chances are you're around my age, so that means get up and stretch your back a bit. Thank you for your time and clicking on this video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Until next time, guys, take care. Later.